Hey Philipp, can we talk about the 250 greatest films ever made in one episode?
Yes, for sure, Tom, but not today, because today we are talking about the IMDb top 250 list of the apparently best movies of all time, which of course they aren't, because the idea of having a international movie database where basically everyone can vote for what the greatest film of all time is will immediately end up as a very how should I call it, narrow-minded, basic, but not at all sophisticated or in any way serious list of, I guess, above average movies. If you would ask any person on the planet, I mean all persons, all human beings on the planet, what the greatest movie of all time is, the answer would be the most generic movie of all time. I mean, and so because not everyone is interested in voting into the IMDb, I guess the best movies on this list are above average, but well, not the best movies of all time. Whatever those are, we will find out in another episode. But yes,
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to a very different episode of the Wertow podcast. My name is Thomas, and
yes, and I'm Philipp,
Yeah.
whatever.
because today we're not talking about one single movie, we're talking about this top 250 films list from the IMDb.
And we have to really hurry up now because
Yeah.
we have to talk about 250
We
movies.
obviously can't talk about every single one of them. We're gonna single out the ones that are very interesting to us or where the placement is very interesting to us. So yeah.
All right, on number 249, I have already Aladdin from 1992. And above that, a movie that's really actually good, The Life of Brian from 1979. I love this film and I think it's quite underrated. I think people only regard it as some kind of weird satire on religion, but it's quite a poetic movie, and this end song, always look on the bright side of life, always brings tears to my heart. I even had a dream one night that I meet someone with a Salo or the 120 Days of Sodom t-shirt, and then this music started to play from The Life of Brian. It was so cute. I have to implement it in one of my movies one day.
Yeah, I agree. I also love this film, and I think it's way too low on the list, especially if we think about films that come after it. Do you want to talk about
First,
another
my
one?
absolute
Yeah,
favorite
I
movie of
guessed.
all time, only on number 246, Persona by Ingmar Bergman from the year 1966. It is a serious contender for the title of greatest film ever made and so on. I will not go into it because it would take me a lifetime to talk about the content and the aesthetics of this movie. So we are moving on to The 400 Blows on number 244. It's a great movie, the first feature by François Truffaut from the French New Wave movement and so on. We will also probably talk about the French New Wave one of these days in a special. But yes.
Yeah, well, moving on, we have a lot of undoubtedly great films here. Rebecca by Alfred Hitchcock is one of my favorites from this director.
But one step beneath this is how is this called? The Sound of Music. I don't think that I've ever seen it, but I have played in it, of course, in the theater. Yes, as a Nazi, of course.
Yeah, great. I think we really have to make bigger jumps than talking about every other movie now. I mean, there are a lot of them I haven't even seen, so I can't talk about
Dog
them
Day
anyways.
Afternoon is also great on number 232. I think it's an underrated art house classic, and only one step ahead is To Be or Not to Be, which is also a hilarious Nazi comedy and a big inspiration for the Holocaust documentary comedy I'm doing right now. But now, on number 230, Pirates of the Caribbean, the first movie, I don't know, it is based on Disneyland attraction.
The theme park, right? Yeah.
Yes, and it's the same thing to a certain extent. Although I have to say, it's impressive for the fact alone that it's a movie based on a theme park attraction, and it has a little bit more content than that. But other than that, I think this is the beginning of the end for Johnny Depp. I mean, after this, he was only
in the sequels
casted as this completely ridiculous character. And don't get me wrong, I like Captain Jack Sparrow as a character, but for Johnny Depp it was absolutely the end of his acting career, because if you really look at the movies he was doing before this, I mean, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas with Terry Gilliams, or
Ed Wood.
Yes, or Ed Wood, and all the other movies by what's his name
Tim
again?
Burton.
Exactly. And he was also working with Emir Kusturica and of course my absolute favorite, John Waters. All right. The Incredibles above that. I like The Incredibles. I like The Exorcist. I like La Haine. Have you ever seen La Haine?
I've not, but I've heard a lot about it. It's supposed to be a great film. I haven't seen it. It's on my watch list.
The Wizard
somewhere.
of Oz, I really like.
Good movie, sure.
I think that's also such an underrated art house masterpiece. It was premiered at Cannes and so on. And yes, I like Network, of course. Ooh, I love Before Sunset. Holy shit, have you ever seen Before Sunset?
No.
Have to watch it. It's so beautifully written, and it takes it. Oh no, this is not the one that takes place in Austria. It's I think that's the first one. I'm not sure. Terminator. I really like Terminator. You can now talk, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, there are other great movies. Rocky, I love it a lot. The Passion of Joan of Arc, one of the greatest films ever made, I think. Way too low. I mean, if we look a few places ahead, we have on 204 How to Train Your Dragon, which is a cute little animation film. Sure, it's good, it's decent, I guess, but above such masterpieces like Joan of Arc or Seventh Seal, Persona, again, even films like Terminator, Rocky.
And the Seventh Seal, there are so many masterpieces. Tokyo Story, The Big Lebowski is quite low.
I mean, I don't even love The Big Lebowski or films like Jaws, for example, but still I think they deserve to be higher than those fun little Pixar movies.
All right, but now a very interesting one. Mad Max Fury Road. It is now regarded, apparently, as one of the greatest artistic achievements in cinema history. What do we think about that, Tom?
I also haven't seen it.
Okay.
I haven't seen any of the Mad Max movies, in fact. But again, I've heard a lot of great things about it.
I don't think the editing is that great. I mean, I love the concept of just having this pure action sensation, and it's really great for many parts, but then at the other hand it's so ridiculous and the editing is not that good. There are some really bad edits in this. Like, let me get over it and edit it again as a fan edit and the movie would be better. Okay, but now an absolute masterpiece, Sherlock Holmes Jr. by Buster Keaton.
Love this film. It's one of Keaton's greatest, along with The General, and in my opinion his other third of the top 3 Keaton films is probably 1 Week, which has some amazing gags. I don't know if it's on the list.
Okay, but
yeah, Sherlock Jr., a genius film.
And only 45 minutes long, so it's
and for free on YouTube.
Yes, it's absolutely. You should all watch it. Now it's on number 197, and on number 196 is. All right, what's the English title of this? It's a French film, Wages of Fear.
Yeah.
Yes, by Henry Georges Clouseau. That's also an amazing movie, Tom. You need to watch it.
It's the one that Sorcerer is based off, right?
Yes, exactly. And yes, it's just such a thrill ride. I mean, holy shit, this is what Fury Road should have been. And above that, on number 195, The Third Man, of course.
Classic.
Memory of Murders on number 194 by Bong Joon-ho. Oh, Wild Strawberries, we have talked about it in the German version of the Wertow podcast. I love it.
Also way too low in my opinion. Like when I look ahead a couple, I don't know, do you want to talk about...
You know what? There are some really great movies that I would love to talk about in depth, but let's just rage about the really bad
179, ones. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. I'm sure it's one of the better Harry Potter films, but above Wild Strawberries, Sherlock Jr., Deer Hunter, Third Man, what the fuck?
Yes, I mean, I'm looking for the next bad one.
I mean, there aren't any like straight up terrible movies I see right now, but...
Yes, sure, but again, it's just to say that a movie like... okay, now there are some really good ones. Shit. But even, okay, Spider-Man No Way Home is apparently better than The Seventh Seal and Persona and The Passion of Joan of Arc and so on, on number 158.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's the thing with modern audiences voting for whatever is the big theater experience. The past few years, it was all MCU movies. Whenever a new MCU movie was released that was popular, it got voted number 1 or 2 or 3 and then slowly fell off again. We will later see that a few of the Avengers movies are on there as well, which I absolutely don't understand. Yes, I enjoy them. They are enjoyable, fun movies. They have no place in this list, in my opinion.
Also, I would not put Shutter Island on this list, which is on number 142.
I mean, I really like Shutter
I also
Island.
like it, but if we are honestly talking about like the best of the best movies, there are 150 movies I could think of that are better. I'm sorry.
250. Yeah.
150 because it's.
It could be lower.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, maybe it shouldn't be on the list.
Green Book is, I think, kind of a pretentious movie. I never really liked it.
I mean, I haven't seen it, but that's literally every time I hear someone talk about Green Book, there are like 50 people that say this film isn't actually that good. It's just people pretend to like it to be like to act sophisticated or whatever.
And that's great. I mean, we are all against racism, I hope, but it's not enough, and it's an insult to my intelligence if that's the only thing that a movie can say, and the only point of the movie is to say, oh, racism is bad. Really, tell me more about it. I mean, fuck.
I mean, we also have on
number 133, The Wolf of Wall Street. I think this is an underrated modern classic. I mean, many people love it, I think, for the completely wrong reasons. And you were actually going to an economics school, so you can probably talk a lot about it.
It's really funny. People love this movie there. And we even watched it in an economics class, or began to watch it at least. It was really funny because... yeah, I think those people love this movie because they don't understand it, which is really funny to me. And for a graduate picture, we even went dressed up as like those stock traders, and we did like cocaine and whatever. So it was funny, but again, I don't think many of them even understand the point of the film.
Okay, another hot take. Batman Begins, I don't like it that much. It's on number 129. And
sorry, I want to go back a few places, because on number 138, I have Ran by Akira Kurosawa, which is, in my opinion, a fantastic, fantastic film. That could be way higher on the list. It's an absolute masterpiece, in my opinion.
Yes, but so we cannot rage about it too much. But yes, Batman Begins It's an interesting like psychological study, and actually if you are at all familiar with the theories of Jacques Lacan, I think it's a very Lacanian movie, if you want to say it that way. But maybe we can analyze this movie in depth a little in another episode. But yes, this is why I don't like it that much, because I think it falls short to Jacques Lacan's theories. Okay, now Top Gun Maverick. I
like it. Like it's good, I guess, but compared to other movies on this list that are below it, I mean, I don't know.
I think it's very interesting that the bad guys in this movie have like no personality whatsoever. That's so funny. They don't have names, they don't have faces. I think this movie is terribly afraid of being political.
Yes, it tries very hard to not offend any nation or anyone.
Yes, fuck other nations. and it's also afraid to be homoerotic like the original was. The original Top Gun movie was really gay, and this one doesn't have the balls for this. And now a movie that Michael Haneke calls disgusting and dumb, Downfall by Oliver Hirschbiegel. All right, from the year 2004 on number 125. All right.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. We all know the memes from it. It's about the last days of Adolf Hitler.
Das war ein Befehl.
Das war ein Befehl. We have on number 124 a war movie that came out a couple years back, 1917, which it's once again one of those films that has the gimmick of supposedly being shot in one continuous shot, which of course it wasn't, but it looks like it when you watch it. Again, I watched it in theaters when it came out. I had a good time with it. Yes, it's a decent war movie. There are better ones below it. There are better ones above it. I don't think it belongs in this list at all.
Yes, then on number 112, Up, from the year 2009.
Wait,
the first 10 minutes are great. I love the first 10 minutes of Up. But after that, I don't know.
But you skipped the film.
Which one? Oh, your favorite movie, Metropolis.
The film, I think, is the greatest movie of all time. Doesn't even make it in the top 100. It's Metropolis by Fritz Lang from 1927. Similar, like you could talk about Persona all day or all your life. I could talk about Metropolis all day or all my life. It's a fantastic masterpiece. I don't know what to say about it if I'm not supposed to go on a rant about how great it is. How is this not in the at least top 20, in my opinion, easily top 1?
Yes, then the North by Northwest is, I think, quite an interesting movie on number 101 by Alfred Hitchcock, of course. And that's the thing. Like, I think it's technically brilliant and I absolutely love it. I adore it. But I have to be honest, I don't see what's so special about it exactly. I don't think that it's one of my favorites, because with other Hitchcock movies like Vertigo or Rear Window, I can see that those movies are just perfect for casual audiences who just want to have an entertaining movie night and so on, but also for like sophisticated theorists and so on who can analyze these movies to death and have all kinds of interesting stuff in those. But I don't really see it in North by Northwest. Maybe someone can write me in the comment section why this movie is so amazing. Also in Hitchcock's filmography, why it's so revered. I don't really see it.
Yeah, it's also not in my like top list of Hitchcock's films, but I still like it a lot. But what I don't like is how this list continues, because it continues with some really great films like M, Citizen Kane, Lawrence of Arabia, 2001, and then there is fucking above them all is Toy Story 3. What the fuck?
No,
I mean,
Tom, oh no. Sorry.
I mean, come on, you gotta be a little bit outraged about this. I mean, again, I'm sure it's a decent film. I'm sure for Pixar it's a good animated film for all age groups or whatever. But again, 2001, I consider them easily amongst the contenders of greatest films ever made. I consider Toy Story 3 to be among the most okay animated films I've seen.
The most okay animated movie of all time. Tom.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about it?
Yes, it's okay. Yeah, you're right. It's fine. I mean, I also really like that Idiots by Lars von Trier is on number 85.
It's not Idiots by Lars von Trier, it's Three Idiots by Rakuma Hirani, which I haven't seen.
Thomas, I'm outraged. Also on number 80, Avengers Endgame. I don't think that I've even seen it. I think I've stopped after the second Avengers movie. What do you think?
I've seen it in theaters. I've seen both Infinity War and Endgame in theaters. I think Infinity War is better, so good on that for being higher on the list even, I guess, if you just want to rank those two. But again, it's blockbuster nonsense. It has a couple decent scenes. It's fun. It's entertaining. It's very long for a blockbuster film, so I guess I can give it credit for that, for not decreasing,
Why?
because it doesn't decrease the audience's attention span. At least, I mean, maybe we come to it. I'm not sure, but right now Oppenheimer is extremely successful in theaters, which is also 3 hours long. And I think nowadays, as sad as it is, it's kind of a good thing that long films even get recognition from mainstream audiences.
Well, I mean, we can talk about this subject matter in another episode, but now on number 79, Joker, I have changed my mind about this movie a little bit. I thought that it was really good and really interesting, but everyone said it's just like a remake of Taxi Driver and The King of Comedy and so on. But now I have to say no. Joker is an underrated experimental film, and I think that it is absolutely not a drama in any sense of the imagination. It is actually, as the Joker himself said in the movie, a fucking comedy. And
it's so far above Taxi Driver. Do you think that's fair?
No, I don't think that's fair. But it's still completely underrated, and I think our perception of Joker will change so far in the next years. I mean, the perception on it will just it will be completely different. But for now, on number 78, Das Boot von Wolfgang Petersen. And yes, that's a movie I really admire to a certain extent, and wasn't one of our relatives in the original Das Boot.
Like, not in the film, in the actual...
In that ship that was in World War II, and yes,
that
our
this film is about.
Relatives were all Nazis.
I mean, that's probably accurate. Yeah, I like this film. I've only seen it once. It's very long. It's pretty good.
Okay, The Dark Knight Rises on number 70. Also, I think completely not justified.
No,
it's the worst one of the trilogy.
Easily the worst, and it's not even Batman Begins should be on this list, and that this film surpasses it is, again, I don't get it.
But again, I'm a big fan of Christopher Nolan, and I think he's at least someone who is not afraid of political issues or of going into theory and so on, and actually challenging the audience intellectually to a certain extent, of course, but at least I have to give him credit for that. Have you seen Spider-Man?
Yeah, I have seen Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I've seen it twice or maybe even 3 times, I'm not sure. I think it's a really good movie. It definitely pushed the animation genre. Like, if you look at animated films that came out before and that came out after Spider-Verse, you see a world of difference, really. So I think that's great. It's important. Number 67, no. Top 250, no, probably not. Top 500, maybe. But probably not.
We have about 5 minutes left before we are...
Oh, fuck.
Should we just go to the top 10?
Infinity War is on there, which is way too high. Apocalypse Now is
the top
great.
10 now.
Way too low. Yeah, top 10.
I have to rage a little bit about Forrest Gump, which I think is also disgusting and dumb, and we will talk about it in another episode. It's on number 11. But then on number 10, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Yes, I mean, that's just a classic, and I don't think it should even be in the top 10, but if we are talking about the greatest directing of a movie, maybe. I mean, it's amazingly directed.
Yeah, it's a great film. Do you think it's the best of the... No, we won't get into that. We have more movies.
The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring on number 9.
And
yes.
Return of the King on 7. We can talk about both of them.
Yes, The Lord of the Rings. Very interesting phenomenon. I have to say, I think Peter Jackson wasn't really the right director for this, because he basically fooled everyone, because he is in essence this like crazy, naive, stupid, childish filmmaker who is making like trash movies like Bad Taste, Brain Dead, and so on, and this is really his talent. And so all of those aspects really work in The Lord of the Rings, but then those other things, these epic aspects and these emotional, dramatic things that he tries to pull off here, they, to a certain extent, they just fall flat. I mean, the last time I watched the third movie, Return of the King, at the end of this movie, there's like Frodo and the dwarf and Gandalf are just coming together on this white bed, and then they jump around on the bed in slow motion with like with music over it, and it looks like the beginning of a gay porn. I'm not gonna lie. So I like that aspect about it.
I mean, yeah, I like the films. I honestly probably prefer his earlier work, like his trash horror films, but Lord of the Rings, they're great films, although definitely not perfect.
Okay, Pulp Fiction on number 8. I love Pulp Fiction, but yes, I would not put this movie in the top 10 movies of all time. I mean, not at all. Yeah, maybe in the top 100. We can talk about that.
I have nothing to add to that. I completely agree.
Okay, now Schindler's List.
Keep it short, please.
It's a disgusting movie about the Holocaust. It's a movie that is not dealing with the subject matter of the Holocaust correctly, like I will in my Holocaust documentary comedy.
It's a great film, in my opinion. Anyways, now to a film that I think we both agree is amazing, 12 Angry Men.
Well, I don't know, to a certain extent, but I would never ever put it in the top 10 greatest movies. I mean, it's good. It's like a... It's like something you can watch in an actual theater with like live actors and so on, and that then you have a great style and so on by Sidney Lumet, the director, of course. I mean, yes, I like it. It's from 1957. It's really good.
I think it's an evergreen. Like, you can show this to anyone. I don't think anyone can actually dislike this film. I think it would be very important if more people saw it, because it deals with the whole subject matter of the jury and the court system in America.
Yes, I can also recommend it, of course, but it could honestly even be shorter, and it could go more into the psychology and of the characters and so on. But now on number 4, we have The Godfather Part 2. What do you think about it?
I think it's an outstanding film.
Sorry.
I do think that...
Sorry.
I do think that the original is slightly better than the sequel. I know this is a hot topic of debate amongst fans or whatever. I like both films though a lot.
I like the second movie more because there's this great scene where they kiss each other, this one guy and his brother, and this is also, of course, this gay incest and so on, and I like this. So on the number 3, The Dark Knight by Christopher Nolan. Great film to an extent. It certainly has very interesting qualities about it. I would never put it in a top 10 greatest
It's
movies.
the best of the trilogy.
By far, yes.
Heath Ledger gives a great performance. There are great scenes. I think it's too long. There are a lot of things that feel like they don't really matter, and I wouldn't put it anywhere near top 20, let alone top 3.
Yes, but still, it's really good. I mean, I'm very often perplexed by how Christopher Nolan is pulling off his career in a sense, because he seems to be a little too sophisticated for the mainstream, but then again, he's not sophisticated enough to... Well, I mean, let's talk about Christopher Nolan in another video.
Yeah.
Holy shit, we have to be really fast.
Yeah. Number 1 is notoriously...
We aren't fucking number 2, Tom.
Wait, we talked about The Godfather. I said it's better than part 2.
All right, so on number 2 we have The Godfather, just so that our audience is not thinking that we are fucking things up again. So okay, after The Godfather now we can talk about the number 1, The Shawshank Redemption, based on a book by Stephen King, directed by Frank Darabont, and well, exactly as I said, it's an above average drama that if you would ask most people who could be called film bros, who are people who have studied film for one semester and are proud that they are trying to watch the top 250 IMDb film list, and we all know those people, those fucking jerks. I mean, but it's exactly what they would vote on number 1, this or The Godfather or
Fight Club.
Or The Dark Knight, yes,
Yeah.
or Fight Club, one of those, or Pulp Fiction, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, it's just ridiculous. It's a good movie, but what is this all about? I mean, you cannot take this list seriously at all, and I'm embarrassed to confess that I have also looked on this list and tried to watch the movies on this list, but it's just embarrassing now.
Yeah, Shawshank Redemption is a good film. I like it a lot, actually. I've seen it a couple of times. I can always go back to it and have a good time with it.
But you don't actually see the rape part.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue, of course. And with that, goodbye.